Welcome to Toy Business Unboxed, your gateway to the secrets of the toy industry. Here, Jason Shea, a toy entrepreneur and expert in the field.
Every product we develop is really inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son.
60% of all toys last year were sold on Amazon, which is incredible.
Be passionate about it because it's a road, it's a journey.
Like when you have an idea that you think is like gonna somewhat like change the world, make things better, I'd say go for it.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Welcome back to another episode of Toy Business Unboxed. Today we are joined by Leonie, the founder of Lioness Games and the creative mind behind the game Biome, a beautifully illustrated and natural themed board game that have really took the Kickstarter by storm. And she was able to raise over $400,000 with the Kickstarter campaign, with support over 6,000 backers. And she really brings a fresh perspective to the toys and game industry with a background in tech and a love for board games, and also a deep passion for nature. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me, Jason. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so first of all, can you first share with the audience what inspired you to create your first board game and run the Kickstarter campaign? Was there any specific moment or story that you could share?
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, I'm a lifelong board game lover, and it was the summer of 2022 and had just been laid off and from a job in the tech world. And so I was playing a lot of board games, especially Wingspan. And I had the idea, what if there were predators or snakes that could eat the eggs from the other players? That would be such a fun game.
Mhm.
And so that was the spark. The idea for Biome was so definitely inspired by Wingspan, but I wanted some more player interaction and different types of plants and animals. So then over the next few months, this idea kept brewing. And then I actually got sick with COVID and had a quarantine. And I was like, okay, this is the time I'm going to start designing this game.
Mhm.
And yeah, that was kind of the start of this whole journey.
Since you have the game with you, can you also kind of obviously show the game and talk about the rule for the game really briefly?
Yeah, absolutely. So here we have Biome. And so it's like a tableau builder similar to Wingspan. And you essentially collect resources to play planet animal cards into different habitats.
Mhm.
And every season, so the game plays through the seasons, and every season something special happens in your biome. So
Okay.
very thematic. So for example, in the spring, if you've played birds and rabbits next to trees or other plants, they will make nests, or rabbits will burrow in the grass, and then they will have babies.
Okay.
So I have tiny little straw nests in the game,
Oh,
wooden
okay.
chicks and rabbits.
Mhm.
And then in the summertime, if you've played predators, they will try and hunt the baby animals from the other players. But the
Oh.
more plants you have played in your
Mhm.
habitats, the better protected your baby animals will be. So there's a lot of different ways to earn points and good fair amount of player interaction. A lot of the actions involve other players. So yeah, I really designed it to I want it to be another gateway type of game where, board game lovers can invite friends who are newer to board games and then get them to play even more advanced board games.
I see. I see. What is the typical play time for
I
game?
would say 60 to 90 minutes. So it depends on, experience level, player count, but somewhere in the 60 to 90 minute range.
I see. I see. I see. So you went from a tech background to board game design. What are some of the lessons you learned during this transition?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's definitely a huge shift from, being an employee to a founder and starting your own business.
Mhm.
But I think some of the overlap is, I was always working for startups and smaller companies, and
Yeah.
things are always fast paced, and I got to wear many different hats. But now what I find especially rewarding is because it's my own company, I can really execute on the different ideas that I have. And, whether it's running social media or, the entire branding of the product, the fact that I get to, make the final decision is super rewarding.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it's also an incredible story to have your. Is that your first Kickstarter campaign that you did with a $400,000 raise?
Yes, it was.
What was some of the main element that you think that was able to make it so successful?
Yeah, a few things. So one was I started already about a year before launch, started building my Instagram community. So I created an Instagram account and was posting regular design updates,
Mhm,
getting to know the other content creators. And so
mhm,
when my campaign rolled around, people organically were sharing about my campaign and posting about it.
mhm,
And was also running a lot of local events and demos at board game stores and conventions in the year leading up to the launch. And so it was really fun to get local board game stores and local folks excited about the game.
mhm.
Third, and I think most importantly, was I worked with Launch Boom. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yes, I'm familiar with Control. Yeah, they were on our podcast before as well. Yes.
Oh, amazing. So yeah, they're a wonderful team and they have this fantastic um, program essentially where you learn how to set up ads and grow awareness of your product before your campaign launches,
Mhm,
because their ethos and is essentially, if you have a successful launch, you'll have a successful Kickstarter campaign. So what can we do to make you as successful as possible? And so
mhm,
they found that typically 5% of your email list will actually back your Kickstarter,
mhm,
and that's an optimistic number. However, if people have already put down $1
mhm,
before your Kickstarter, or any amount of money, they are 30 times more likely to actually back your campaign. So
mhm,
Launchboom had this great process for getting a landing page set up, helping you test different ads.
mhm.
So my campaign funded within 9 minutes, which was amazing.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty wild. So I'm really grateful for the whole Launchboom team and process and all the supportive creators
Mhm.
who helped me launch Biome.
Yeah, I think all the work is really in the pre-launch, especially with the competitive landscape nowadays with the Kickstarter. That was a golden age way back then that you can just launch without any kind of preparation and it still kind of work. But nowadays you have to do a lot of preparation, like many months before the official launch of the campaign, like you just mentioned, to build the audience, build the Instagram page, run ads, and really build an email list using landing page and do a lot of testing before the official start of the campaign. So
Exactly. It's pretty funny that you have to spend money to make money. Or that's, common knowledge, I guess. But
yeah.
it's pretty funny that you really do have to make an investment, if you want to have a super successful Kickstarter campaign. As you mentioned, the times have really shifted.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mm,
And but I want to talk back to the game a little bit more. To when you do the initial design, like why do you choose nature as a theme? Is there a particular reason that you choose that theme for the first game?
yeah. So I love animals and nature in general. Having grown up in California, huge respect for nature. And I think I was maybe somewhere between 8 and 10 years old. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember learning that 10,000 species of plants and animals were going extinct every year.
Hmm.
That was shocking to me.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this board game, I want one of the main themes to be biodiversity.
Hmm.
So I really built that into the theme of the game. And I knew that I wanted to give back with proceeds from the game. So I actually partnered with the Wildlife Conservation Network. And so I made a donation of $10,000 last year
Okay.
to them. And it's pretty impressive. They're ranked like 100% on Charity Navigator and to support their different wildlife conservation projects. So
Mhm.
yeah, that was the main reason I wanted to stick with that theme. And I
Mhm.
think people, once they play it, they're like, okay, I see why you built it this way. I'm really having to learn about the balance of, you know, balancing harmony in nature.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that's been really, really fun.
I see. Yes, thank you for sharing that. And what when do you finish the Kickstarter campaign? That's fairly recent, right? When do you finish the campaign?
So it was last year around this time. So it was, I believe I launched February 20th,
Mhm.
and then the campaign ended around March 20th of last year.
March. Okay. Do you already finish all fulfilling all the pledge?
I did,
No,
yes.
you did. Okay. Okay. Good.
Mhm.
So I see. So what is the next marketing plan for the Biome going forward?
Yeah, so I'm preparing to start my next print run right now, which is very exciting. Also a little nerve-wracking given
Yeah.
the situation with the tariffs.
Right. Yeah. Mhm.
So we'll see how that goes. But
Mhm.
yeah, most likely Biome will have a test placement in Barnes and Noble and
Oh
see
wow.
how
Okay. Nice.
sales go there. And then, yeah, I'm working with some distributors, to bring Biome to local board game stores. It's
Mhm.
available for purchase on Amazon and through my website. And then I'm already starting to prepare for my next Kickstarter for Faekin.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I'm very, very excited about that too. So lots of things in the works for Lioness Games.
I see. Can you talk about a little bit about your second game? How is it? What is the game kind of?
Yeah.
How
So
do you play and all that? Mhm.
yeah, I like to call it a simple but elegant social deduction game. So real, similar to Avalon, The Resistance, Coup, these types of games, but information becomes public very quick. It's just, essentially a card game. My sister has been doing a lot of the art for the game, which has been amazing. So also some nature themed uh, cards going on here. And so information becomes public very quickly. Players are dueling to find out players' identities. And yeah, it's just really fast, really fun, quick game. So I'm very excited for it.
I see. Okay. Okay. Thank you for sharing that as well. And when is the Kickstarter campaign going to be launched?
Most likely late May.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you for sharing that. And you're also using the process you learned from the first launch that you're trying to apply to the second Kickstarter campaign as well, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep. So I'm working with Launch Boom again to launch Faken.
I see. And I think the common, I guess, the crossroad decision that a lot of the people in the industry need to make is to either go with self-publishing or go try to pitch your product to a bigger publisher. I think sounds like you made the decision to go with a self-publishing route. Can you share a little bit about the reason and the different thing you have considered as far as going self-publishing or licensing a product to a bigger publisher?
Absolutely. So I started designing it October of 2022, and I had so much fun with it. My partner at the time was like, "Wow, I've never seen you so energized, so focused. Let's turn this into a product. Let's turn this into a business." And then, we explored, okay, should we self-publish or should we find a publisher?
Yeah,
And when we realized that the typical designer makes less than 5%, you know,
yeah, yeah,
for
yeah,
each sale, we
yeah,
thought, wow, that seems really hard. I've put so much love and effort into this game.
yeah,
I'd want to see more than just 5%.
yeah.
And so then we thought, okay, if we self-publish, what are the different routes? You know, and Kickstarter was just like so helpful, such an amazing opportunity. So I'm really glad I took that route because that has just really launched my my career here in the board game industry and kind of justified why I want to make this my full-time career.
I see, I see, I see. What are some of the things that you have learned since you started the business? Like either some challenges or something you didn't expect that you can also share with our audience?
Yeah. Um, oh my goodness. Definitely, I had no idea how expensive shipping is until I joined this business.
Yeah.
Um, it is pretty insanely expensive to ship board games. And Amazon has definitely spoiled us with free shipping. for Prime members. So that's definitely a big one. How important it is to go to conventions in person.
Mhm.
That was a huge learning. Every time I go to a convention, I meet new people, new doors are open for me,
Mhm.
and it's just so worth every dollar spent going to the convention. Whether or not I have a booth or just show up, um, I think that's a big one. Just this industry is so, you know, people focused and yeah, really, really special as I'm sure you know.
Mhm. I see. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. What are some of the conventions that you are going to this year?
Yeah, so I'm going for the first time to Origins, where I'll have a booth, and then Gen
Oh,
Con as well. I'll also have a booth there.
okay.
And then Essen Spiel, I will
Okay.
again have a booth there as well.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I'll most likely attend PAX Unplugged, but I'm not sure yet if I'll have a booth, so we'll see.
I see. I see. Okay. Well, that's quite a bit of a show that you're attending.
Yeah, quite a few. Are you attending any of those?
I think I will be in a few of those you mentioned, either Gen Con or Origin myself as well. And
No.
that's like one of like a few like very popular. Of course, that's just Gamma that have happened a few just a few weeks ago. So, but as far as conferences go, that's definitely some of the very common one that most people go to within the board game community as well. And as far as you mentioned about networking and also like talking to other fellow entrepreneurs and designer in the industry, what are some of the things that you have learned, from other, entrepreneur within the industry that you can also share with us?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm super grateful to Dusty and Amy from Duxomnium Games.
Mhm.
They launched Botany on Kickstarter and then LaFleur and Artistry now. I think the Kickstarter campaign just ended, and they've just been so helpful. You know, as a someone who had never gone through all this before, having to learn about VAT, VAT in
Mhm.
Europe, and
Okay.
you know, all kinds of things from marketing to fulfillment to pricing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's amazing that and I've reached out to lots of folks, met lots of different folks, and even though we could be considered competitors, I've never felt that way with any other publishers. I've
Mhm.
always felt like we're friends first, and I once heard the quote, "A rising tide lifts all ships,"
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's the general attitude in the industry, which is really special.
For sure. I think that's also that tied to the mission of the podcast is to share what is working and not working as an industry so we can all learn from each other and also tackle some of the bigger problem together, like the tariff you mentioned earlier that everyone face. We all kind of trying to figure out what to do and how to move it forward as well. And
Yeah.
I think you have creating, the second game. How when you're approaching designing and manufacturing the second game, how do you do it differently compared to the first game that you have?
Right. So I'm very grateful that Faekin is just a card game. And because I have like a tight timeline, I really want to bring Faekin to the different conventions I have this year.
Mhm.
I decided that I want to manufacture in the US,
Okay.
and I'm just so grateful that that's possible. I don't foresee that being possible for Biome, considering all the complex components,
Mhm.
inserts, the nests, the wooden pieces.
Yeah.
Um, so Faken, I'll be producing in the US, and then shipping, all that will be so much easier. So
Mhm.
I'm really relieved, especially considering the tariff situation. So yeah.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So if you have any good contact for the U.S. manufacturer, maybe you can also share that with us after the show.
Sure,
We can
absolutely.
compile some lists together
Yeah.
for the audience. That
I
might
can share it now too. I was recommended by a friend, Danielle Reynolds from
be.
Wise Wizard Games. She suggested Delano and Cartamundi. So those are the two big ones that I reached out to for quotes.
Oh, really? Okay, 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 okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
if you can share the website with us, so we can put that in the show note at
Yeah,
the end as well. So,
absolutely.
okay. And can you kind of, what is your vision going forward for the company?
Yeah. So going forward, I feel so grateful that things worked out with Biome the way they did, and now other game creators have been reaching out to me. Hey, will you publish my game for me?
Oh,
So
okay.
that's how it went with Faekin. A friend of mine had started to design this
Yeah.
and said, Leonie, I'm looking for a publisher.
Mhm.
And he was also talking to some other well-known publishers. And so I was like, well, maybe I could publish it. And so
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah, so I then joined on as publisher and also have been helping with game development. And I think that's kind of my sweet spot right now where, you know, folks are bringing me games that I think are nearly there,
Mhm.
and then I love working on them, developing the game with the creator and
Mhm.
then publishing them. So I have a few kind of in the pipeline,
Okay.
and then but I also want to focus on, biome expansions, and I have a few more game ideas that I'd like to work on soon too. But for now it looks like I'll be doing mostly biome expansions, and then some games that other creators have brought to me.
I see. Okay, that seems to be a good strategy to really continue expanding your product selections and your catalog as well. Then, yeah, then you can really leverage or use join forces with other people as well. But on the marketing side, what are some of the strategy besides Kickstarter that has been working well for you and the game that you represent?
Yeah, I think so. I'm very curious to see, with the tariffs and margins becoming a lot slimmer,
Hmm.
I'm definitely going to have to shift, distribution. Your typically want your typical distributor wants 60 to 67% off MSRP. And so one, I see a lot more of my focus shifting towards international partners,
Hmm.
where where I'm hopefully safe from the tariffs, and then also more direct, B2C sales.
Hmm.
Um, so then I'm definitely excited to explore more ads on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, to see how that goes. In addition to Google ads and things like that. So I'll probably be testing those different channels in the next few months.
I see. And I think last time when we spoke before the interview, you're also talking about that you're considering your options with your Amazon channel as well.
Right. Yeah. So right now, my distributor is handling that for me, and
Mhm.
more and more folks are telling me, you should probably
Take it back yourself.
take it back. And
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's tricky because if I had a bigger team, maybe, but right now with it's just me, and as fulfillment by Amazon, all these things are can be quite intense, and things changing at Amazon all the time. So
Mhm.
at that time, I was definitely very happy to hand over the reins for
Mhm.
Amazon sales. But we'll see especially with the tariffs, if that changes things.
I see. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And as well, wrapping up today's interview, if you have to share just one piece of advice with someone that's getting started within the toys and game industry, what would that be?
Ooh, just one thing. Um, I would say really focus on creating something that you love.
Okay.
So, other friends have pitched me ideas, for games, and I didn't really connect with the theme or kind of like the mission of the game.
Hmm.
And so many people said they thought Biome was successful because they could see the love and the passion that I had for building that product.
Hmm.
And so I think that's kind of what I want to take in moving forward, is to really focus on products that I love. And it also just makes your job so much easier and more exciting when you get to build things that you love and are passionate about. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'd say, stick true to what you think is special, and I'd say give it your all. And I can only imagine that things will shape up really well for you.
I see. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And where can people find you online?
Yeah, so I have an Instagram, lioness.games, or you can also find me on Instagram at Biome Board Game. I believe I have a TikTok for Lioness Games as well. And then my website is biomethegame.com. And I have a YouTube channel as well, also Lioness Games.
I see. Okay, thank you so much. We'll make sure we include some of that in the show note. And thank you again for being on our show today and sharing your experiences within the industry and some of your knowledges that you have gained so far.
Thank you so much for having me. Such a pleasure chatting with you today.
And thank you for our listener for tuning in to this episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We hope you have enjoyed the conversation and find it insightful and inspiring. If you like what you have heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. We really appreciate your support and would love it if you can leave us a review and share the podcast with your friend and colleague. For more resource tips and the latest update within the toys and game industry, visit our website at toy-launch.com. Join the conversation and connect with us on social media using hashtag Toy Business Unboxed. We'd love to hear your feedback and suggestion for future episodes. Until next time, keep innovating, keep creating, keep bringing joy to toys. This is Jason Shea signing off on the Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay.